Hi, good night. How you doing, Marcia?
I'm doing good. I see you, and I'm laughing at the picture that you showed me. Every time remember the picture, I laugh. But
Which picture is that?
I can't say it. You
Oh,
would
you
have to
can't say
you would
that.
have to put it up. I'll send it to Dave. But
Oh,
Don. First of all, let me just welcome you to the Marcia Week show, and
mhm.
we're a few minutes out of your time, past
No
your
worries.
time. But I thought that what Jehan, did you hear what Jehan had to present this evening?
I caught the back end of it.
Yeah,
I
but
caught the back end of it. So
it's
I
a
didn't
whole
get to fully. It was about dirty water. I didn't get to hear all of what he was saying, to be honest.
yeah. What it's a
Hmm.
pair it a pair it is a pairing that this developer that's building there in Brighton, it
Hmm.
appears that there it's jobby water being pushed, sewage water being pushed to the sea.
Hmm.
And he has had to call brass tacks,
Hmm.
and so he's coming on the show, and I'm thinking we need to go down there, we need to go, because there's just a lot of things that's happening in this new planning and development
Hmm.
ministry that is headed by our prime minister. So I don't know if she's
Hmm.
aware of all of these, just a breaking, well, to us, what seemed to be the breaking of the rules, not
Hmm.
knowing, we don't know if these are now the new rules.
Well, that's
That's
the
the other
thing.
thing.
She's had unchecked despotic power for so long. She forgot there were rules.
Well, that's what it seems like, to me, as well. Now,
Hmm.
but you're on here tonight to talk about this cabinet reshuffle.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to let you jump right in and to give your take on it. You all remember Don was one of those that represented you in the US, in Washington, read the cybercrime bill, which,
Hmm.
by the way, if they had the cybercrime bill, both you and I would be in jail right now.
No, don't say that. I don't ever say that. We would have had the best lawyers in Barbados, and we would be sitting down right here fine. But
Okay,
we would
wonderful.
be experiencing some issues. We wouldn't be able
Yes.
to have the show right now, to be honest.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into this cabinet reshuffle and the
Mm-hmm.
firing. We're calling it the firing of Senator Haynes. So this is a crew
Mm-hmm.
here. We're seeing in this picture who I call Miss Piggy. We are seeing Ursula, right? We're seeing Guy Smiley, right? And we're seeing what's the name of the cat? There's a cat that's lazy and does nothing and just sleeps around. It's not Sylvester. Dave, what's the name of that cat? That's all of them in this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but go right ahead. Go right ahead, Dan.
Oh man, where do we start? So, I mean, a cabinet shuffle in essence, most of the time, means that there's trouble in paradise. It means that for whatever reason, things aren't working. The Barbados Labour Party prides itself on being better than the Democratic Labour Party. That's their only really claim to fame. The only thing
Mm,
they can say to the Bajan people at any given point in time is, oh, you don't want to go back to those DLP people you don't want to go back to them. But they have to realize that so much time has passed now. It's been since 2018 that they've gotten in. They've borrowed more money than any government in history. They've taxed us harder than any government in history. And what is there really to show for it at the end of the day? We can clearly see here that Mia Motley is losing her absolute group of power. A lot of her people are starting to dissent. She's having arguments in fighting. And at the end of the day, it's actually taken the BLP itself to make all of these unforced errors. I really think that the opposition here in Barbados need to go a lot harder. Not you, Marcia. You're the loyal opposition. You can't go any
we are the loyal opposition.
you can't go any harder than you currently do. But think about if we had Errol Barrow or Tom Adams or one of those titans in industry looking at Mia Motley's mistakes that she's making right now, publicly admitting to paying criminals with taxpayer money. What would Errol Barrow have said to that? What would Tom
Mm.
Adams have said to that? What would the greatest politicians in Barbados history have said to that? By the time they were done tearing into Mia's government, she would be begging to resign. You know what I mean? So I really think the opposition needs to do a lot more. They could do a lot more. They need to come a lot stronger because these unforced errors from the BLP can really start to show cracks in their entire system.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah, we can.
someone here is saying it was a government reshuffle, and that's not unusual. This often happens, and what often
Mhm.
happens, it gives government the opportunity to get rid of dead wood. What do you say to this?
Well, I agree with the statement in principle. Deadwood in this case being yes, very deadwood. It was, there are a lot of negative reasons why this cabinet shuffle had to happen. This wasn't a strategic shuffle. This wasn't um something that was really just about political prowess. They did this out of desperation. They did this because they had to. They did this because, well, let's talk about the different factors of the shuffle. Let's talk about, who do you want to talk about? Because three people were fired. Who do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Marsha Cattle.
Marsha Cattle. Okay, so I would say of the firings, two out of the three of them, in my opinion, were just vindictive, despotic behavior on Mia's part. And then Corey Lane, he had to be fired. Like, he had to be fired. So Marsha Cattle,
You know too much about this correlate thing, you know. Oh my lord. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So at the end of the day, Marsha Cattle, in her official statement, says that her views and the government's views don't align, and at that point, she needs to resign.
Hello, are we hearing him, or is it me? Okay, so we having a little issue here. With,
Extremely
yeah,
corrupt
go ahead. We were.
politicians. They're
Mhm.
yes men. We'll get to Jonathan Reed later. He's the chief of staff of Mia. Suddenly, now he's a senator and a minister. Like, how are you just going about giving your friends these jobs? So at the end of the day, Mia needs to surround herself with extremely weak people, which I find that questionable because she herself is so strong. Whether you like her or hate her, you have to acknowledge that she is, she's very articulate, she is very smart, she is very intelligent. So at the end of the day, why wouldn't you surround yourself with other smart, intelligent, articulate people? She likes to keep the weakest people in the party elevated so that then she looks like she's a shining light above everybody else. So Marsha Cattle, I don't really have anything bad to say about Marsha Cattle at all. You and I discussed her earlier today. She was the one that was in a very contentious ministry. Obviously, the battle that you and I and the rest of the loyal opposition have been fighting against the cybercrimes bill. The cybercrimes bill came straight from her ministry itself. And as you and I discussed earlier today, it could have very well been passed if it was a direct Mia yes woman running that ministry. The
Yes.
fact that Marsha Cattle, she didn't put up the most opposition, obviously, because she has to be a team player for the BLP, but she did, suggest that it go to joint select committee and all of these things that stall the process, and that's the reason it isn't a law right now. So I wouldn't have anything negative to say about her. I actually applaud her for taking the step of resigning from a government that she doesn't really believe in. Obviously, she can't air her facts out because at the end of the day, she's a member of the Barbados Labour Party. The Barbados Labour Party have kept her employed for the last couple of years, so she can't say anything bad about them. But for her to resign from a government ministry, not to take up another post in the cabinet, it shows that there really, really was a lot of trouble in paradise for her.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that, I mean, this announcement of the reshuffling did not occur until after Marsha Cadell, tendered her resignation and made it public. Then
Correct.
here comes, this is all about trying to make it seem like, okay, well, we are doing this, it's a regular thing we're doing here.
Mhm.
There's nothing unusual that's going on. In the middle of the estimates, you're going to be reshuffling when she was supposed to be in the in on the floor in the parliament,
Yeah.
presenting our ministry yesterday. So what are we? It's not scheduled. It's not scheduled at all.
No, definitely not. It's Jonathan Reed, I believe, that has taken over this ministry. As I said, what he's the chief of staff of the prime minister. So what he orders the catering, he puts the napkins into fancy arrangements when she's having meetings with other world leaders, and now suddenly he's a minister. She's just really keeping the people that are closest to her that would really, if she said jump off this bridge, how far down do you want me to go, Mia Motley? Those are the sort of people that she is keeping around her. She's not gonna have anybody with an opinion is bad for business. Look at Senator Dr. Crystal Haynes,
Haynes, yeah.
intelligent young lady. Um, and then she gave her opinion one time, literally just one time, and she's
Mhm.
gone. Like, what kind of, like, that's
Don, you're
outrageous,
hilarious. Don
vindictive. It's
said
outrageous.
literally just one time. One time she gave her opinion. It's true. And the one time she stuck up, and she was very nice about it. You know, she was very
Mm-hmm.
gracious about it. And you heard what the prime minister said. She said that you know, she basically she's the one they asked her and she said yes. So
Mm-hmm.
you fire her. She's fired. We could
Yeah.
pretty it up. The woman was fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We could go into her next after Marsha Cattle. Dr. Crystal Haynes, I liked her as a senator. You know, it wasn't ever anything too contentious. You could tell she's a genuinely good person. What I really like too as well is like she didn't come into politics looking for a job. She was
Mm,
already self-sufficient. She's a doctor. She has her own medical clinic, I believe. She just came into this for the benefit of the people. There are a lot of senators who are like, oh, I really need this $18,000 a year. I doing this for the money. You know what I mean? She wasn't like that. She came into this. She didn't need it. She does not need solid politics to be a successful Bajan. But at the same
mhm.
time, she decided to do it because she would be able to represent the people of Barbados. And I think that that's a lot more of the core values we need in politicians. We need people who aren't going into this for a 9 to 5 salary. We need people that have, you know, a life and stuff outside of politics. And politics is just something that they genuinely want to help people with doing. And in this case, I believe that that is her. I watched her entire 7 minute speech. I believe it was in the Senate. She went
Yes.
to the University of the West Indies. She did almost a full history course on the Whole Town Civic Center. She brought a lot of really good facts and articles. It's a national heritage site. It's a national archaeological site. She made mention to the fact that the Barbados government itself has certain obligations when dealing with a national heritage site and a national archaeological site, which the government itself would be breaking right now. She
Mhm.
even said, I know everybody would be wondering who it was. She said during the speech, somebody actually told her not to come to Senate that day so that she
Yeah.
wouldn't speak about these things. And what did she say? Her conscience wouldn't allow her to do that. So at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I really think that conscience over corporations should rule the land. And all I have is kudos for former Senator Dr. Crystal Haynes.
So how about your very good your Don, you make me laugh. How about the minister of crime prevention, sir?
Okay, Corey Lane. Not can't call him honorable. Corey Lane. So at the end of the day, I don't know how many people saw my story post, but I had a run in with him in 2022, shortly after they were elected. I'm not gonna go back into it on the show. You already had a
Mhm.
whole show about that, but he's just genuinely not a good person. You have to be careful what you say here on the internet. You don't want, um,
Mhm. But
if
in your opinion, based on your what you this is your opinion,
mhm.
that you are stating. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Mia Motley threw him under the bus. She literally said in her 3 minute cabinet reshuffle speech that Corey Lane is being relieved of his duties so that this government is insulated from any charges brought against him. He says that he's completely innocent and that he has his right to do so. So at the end of the day, Mia Motley's completely throwing him to the wolves. She's saying, please go ahead and take him. He has charges, go ahead and take him. And at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it looks really bad for her in the international community. She already has an MP on trial for rape, Neil Rowe, accused of rape already. everybody's speculating about what the charges on Corey Lane are going to be. I could tell you what they are. I don't want to do that here on the show today.
No, not on
Uh,
the show. Yeah.
let the newspaper say it, and then I can say it as soon as the newspaper said it. But it's really a bad look to have two MPs, be coming up on charges. Like, this is your team, Mia Motley. This is the team you chose.
And there is an ambassador that was put in place, a cultural ambassador,
Mhm,
who of course we know is innocent until proven guilty, but he too
mhm,
was charged
mhm.
for rape. It's a reality.
Yes, a singer that we all know and probably quite a few of us love as well. The government was paying him $8,000 a month, and
To be
at the end
cultural
of the day,
ambassador.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's very concerning that so many people affiliated to this Barbados Labour Party government are being charged with this specific type of crime, the most heinous type of crime. So it's very, very concerning, I would say. I hope tear into these men as I encourage the opposition to do a little bit more. It really looks like if Chad Blackman is being poised to being the next leader of the country. I don't know what people think about that. That could be good, that could be bad. But at the end of the day, I'm sure that's going to have Santia Bradshaw extremely sour. She's been probably hoping. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We don't know. Nobody's saying, Dave, one quick second again. This is these young
That's
people are
it. You can
something
you
else.
can leave it. You can leave it up there. The newspaper posted that picture as a
Okay, it
publicly
was in the
available picture.
newspaper. Okay, good.
As a publicly available picture.
Thank you. So this we're not saying who this is, but every time I see this thing, I am dying with laughter. But it was in the newspaper, and
Yeah,
Don sent it to me. And Don, I tell you, I've just
I
been there.
posted that on my social media. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was in the newspaper. But Don is going to find it and keep it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Don. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having
And
me as always, Marcia, and keep fighting. Keep up the good work.
yes, thanks. And you can hang around. You can please hang around. Feel free to do that.